A bad line change cost Winnipeg as VGK tallies a 3-2 victory for their fourth straight win. Our takeaways come your way next on this WTF edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel, FanDuel.com. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. So, Chris, VGK steals the W last night in Winnipeg because they stole the W. 3-2 was the final. Ivan Barbashev.
I'm ready for this crap. Knock it off.
Yeah, okay. It's WTF day. Ivan Barbashev scores the game winner on a horrible line change by the Jets. Vladimir Nemistikov. Shea Theodore pushes the puck ahead, and he gets that 2-on-1 breakout, and Ivan Barbashev pots the game winner. Talk about the game-winning goal, first of all.
Yeah, I mean, you said it yourself here. I'm watching the visualizer right now. It's such a great feature to check out on NHL.com on the desktop, not the phone. And it shows you basically like each of the players moving around and stuff like that. And they each have their number in the middle, and here they all come out in number form to celebrate with Barbashev. You said it yourself, bad line change, but I think my takeaway from the overtime is Shea Theodore. Shea Theodore had 2 or 3 different chances right before that. It was a long shift for him, and it looked like he was just trying to find a way to score himself, and he almost did, I think, twice. And then, like you said, the bad line change, Theodore happens to be the one who gets the puck on the turnover in front of the VGK bench, crosses in front of the Winnipeg bench, and there's Barbashev, right?
Yeah. Why is VGK always the beneficiary of a bad line change? It seems it's so rigged. It is absolutely rigged.
I don't know if they're always the beneficiary, and maybe it's because they don't do as many bad line changes as the opposition.
Yeah, playoffs, we go back, ways here. VGK led in this game in most offensive categories all night long, yet they trailed up until that Victor Olofsson goal, which was a beaut. That was a nice goal for Olaf, or whatever we're going to call him, with about 149 to go in regulation, and then a couple of tripping penalties. One to me was borderline, the one on Theodore. I thought he flopped a little bit, but okay. And then that leads to the 5-on-3, and VGK gets that goal on a nice apple, if you will, from Stone to Olofsson across the crease.
I mean, listen, that's watching that goal live, and I'm watching the replay again right now, just on the visualizer here, and just that puck movement was absolutely phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Eichel and Theodore going up and back. Theodore finds Stone, and as long as Olofsson hits any part of the net, that's going to be a goal. I'm having a hard time thinking about a better power play goal than I've seen from this team, and I can't. I mean, just that passing was absolutely spectacular, and reminds me of what Tampa did when Tampa had a very successful power play for a long time, about like 3, 4, 5 years ago. They still do usually, but a lot more when Stamkos was there doing his thing. That was the type of passing that they were spectacular at. Oilers up still to this day too, but great power play goal, great timing, and like we said, VGK they found a way, Tony. And this is the way they won games in the Stanley Cup here. This is the way they won games in season number 1. And it's really getting interesting 30 or so games now into the regular season.
Yeah. And I think afterwards, didn't Cassidy say that VGK is like 4 for 4 on the 5-on-3? I think that's what he was saying.
And they were so bad for a long time on a 5-on-3 too. That's the thing. And then now they're not this year, but a general historic statement. But now they finally figured it out.
Hey, Keegan Colasar gets the 100th goal of the season for the Vegas. Yeah, for the Vegas Golden Knights. Who would have thunk that? Aiden Hill now 7-1-1 in his last 9 games. And I'm surprised that Winnipeg didn't have much gas left, right? In that third period. I read a stat going into last night's game. In games in which they were tied, they lost, I think, 3 of the last 10. So they were tied 1 apiece, actually, in 3 of the last 10 games prior to last night. And they wound up losing in the third period. So as soon as that third period hit, as soon as it was a tie game, I felt that Winnipeg lost that advantage. But losing to VGK 8 consecutive times, that's kind of hard to take. And what do you have to do if you're Winnipeg? I thought maybe muddy up the game a little bit, but obviously they didn't have much left.
Winnipeg, the team, didn't play well. Connor Hellebuck was phenomenal.
As always.
He was remarkable. And
Team USA, bro.
Hey,
Team USA. He was
Team
doing
USA
his
has
tryout
the edge
last
in
night.
net. Team Canada has the edge everywhere else. So I'll be really curious to see how that plays out. I'll watch the recaps. I'm not watching any of the games. You started with Keegan Colasar, and that type of goal is just the goal that gets everybody going, right? Hellebuck, impossible to solve. Every replay, someone's looking to the stands afterwards on the Vegas Golden Knights. Eichel, Dorofeev had so many great chances. When Colasar is the one who does it, it gives the team a ton of juice. We've heard Cassidy mention this in postgame before, where it's like a Braden McNabb or a Zach Whitecloud that gets a goal, or a Keegan Colasar, players like that who don't hit the score sheet a lot. It gives the team a lot of juice. Didn't talk about it last night. Well, I don't know if the question was framed necessarily, but he's talked about it a lot before. And when Colasar is the one to not just score the goal, but create the turnover first, and then he's the one that beats Hellebuck. It's a point where VGK, okay, we got to find a way now, right? We got to find a way to get there, and it slipped away for a second there. Aiden Hill, we haven't even talked about Aiden Hill yet. I think it was a pretty strong performance by him as well. Hellebuck was better, but Aiden Hill got the victory, and Aiden Hill certainly made the saves he needed to. A couple goals he gave up. I don't know what he was going to do. The second goal, Whitecloud just screened him, unfortunately, and nothing Aiden's going to do to stop that one. But when Colasar is the one who creates the turnover, puts it in the back of the net, the team, you got to think it's going to be impossible for him not to finish this game with the least points.
That second goal, the Morrissey goal, did you notice the one side of the ice, like literally like 3 players from VGK were all on the right side, and then Morrissey was isolated on the left. And for some reason, all the VGK players went to that right side. And the first goal, I felt, was a direct result of VGK pinching and trying to play more aggressively with the defensemen. After the game, Cassidy said that this might have been the best game the defensive unit has played so far this season.
So I definitely wanted to talk about the defensive unit, and I watched the first goal when it happened. I'm watching the visualizer replay right now, and I was wondering about that. So you have a line change happening, number one. So the issue is Haig and Whitecloud, they're not pinching in the play. They're back at center ice, which allowed the Jets to get speed through the neutral zone. Kind of a bad rebound by Aiden Hill, but that's going to happen. I mean, no one's going to be perfect out there. And then we talked about the second goal already in the screen and everything. So it wasn't necessarily the VGKD pinching as much as it was the forwards not necessarily reading the line change happening. And when you give any NHL team speed through the neutral zone, it equates to an elevated scoring chance. And this is pretty much a textbook goal in the NHL. Shoot low from the left or right side. Hopefully it rebounds to the middle of the ice, or slightly to the side of the net where someone's going to be waiting for it. And that's exactly what happened. We see if all 32 teams play on a nightly basis, you'll probably see 10 goals like that a night, maybe more.
Those Canadian hockey fans are something else. And on that Nemistikov line change, you just hear a collective from the crowd. You knew it was over, right? Because it keys the 2-on-1 break. So I felt so bad for the Winnipeg fans, because all of a sudden they could see it happening right before their eyes, and they knew that it was over, that it was a costly mistake.
I'm drawing a blank right now. Who's the Jets fan, very, very popular in social media. Like the guy said he's going to lick the carpet if the Golden Knights beat him in the playoffs. So when the Golden Knights
The
won the
carpet
Stanley Cup.
licker? Is that his
Yeah, who's the
nickname? Is
carpet
that his
licker,
name on
dude?
Twitter? I don't know.
No, it's not carpet licker. Dude's really popular. All right, let's see. Let's Jets.
Okay.
Lick.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
This is weird. So my suggestive stuff on Twitter and Google is going to go way south. I just searched Jets carpet lick on Twitter.
Yeah. You might as well.
Jesse Pollock. I found him. Hey, I found him.
Okay.
So yeah, Jesse is the one who. Again, he's a good dude, but he just. Let's see. I'm so done. Okay, 10 hours ago. I am so done with the cheap Vegas Golden Knights.
It was kind of that was a cheapie. That was a cheapie, bro. It really was.
What was a cheapie?
The win.
How's like what's cheap? What are you going to say negative about that win, Tony? For the Golden Knights?
Back-to-back bogus tripping calls that you should not call, and I'm glad that someone cross-checked Vegas Bjorn to get back there, and they didn't.
He took a hit, and the Golden Knights won a game.
I know.
How are you downing one of the best Golden Knights wins of the season, though?
Did you really think that was that great? I don't know.
I think it was. I think it was good. I think it was really good. I think it was one of the best. Absolutely.
You did?
Last time the Golden Knights played the Jets, you have no Connor Hellebuck and no Mark Stone, but you have no Hellebuck. So that's the one thing anyone's going to hold over the Vegas Golden Knights in that game. Now you have Connor Hellebuck. Now you have a typical worldly Connor Hellebuck performance, and the Golden Knights still got 2 points, Tony. How could you down that? There's nothing negative to say about that game. There's not.
I thought the Edmonton game where you shut out the Edmonton Oilers was the top game of the season. They gave up.
I said it was one of the best games of the season. This is one.
I thought that was better.
It was a good one. Okay,
this game. Okay.
4 huge points against two pretty tough opponents. That's not bad.
Coming up next, there's back-to-back games in Edmonton and Minnesota, and we'll talk about those games. Those matchups coming your way next, right here on Locked. I like getting Golic fired up on Locked On Golden Knights. Get ready to tackle this NFL action and this season as we continue along with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I was just looking at the line for Monday Night Football. Cannot wait at Allegiant Stadium as the Raiders are only a 4-point underdog to the Atlanta Falcons. And I might take a little flyer there, as Golic might say.
You must not like money.
Atlanta, is that okay? I might take Atlanta, the Falcons there. In any event, I would do it at FanDuel because you can bet $5 and get $150 back in bonus bets. The FanDuel Sportsbook app, it gives you everything that you need to place live sports bets on the NFL, and that's all in one place. If you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live, play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com, join today. You will get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com, FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. And we are brought to you today by Prize Picks. It's the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings. That is the place to go. And you can run your game all season long on Prize Picks, where you can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. That's right. And is the best way to get into the action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. It's the best place to get real money sports action, so make sure that you sign up today. It does put its members first. All of the withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When a pick hits, you can get your money in as quickly as 15 minutes. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play only $5. That's right. You don't even need to win to receive this $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. The best way to win real money this football season is at Prize Picks. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Once again, download the app today. Use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you will receive $50 instantly when you play $5 at Prize Picks. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golic from Las Vegas. Thank you so much for making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Of course, today is WTF Day. That's coming up, the Friday? In our next segment, Saturdays sometimes. It is the Chris and Chris Jr. Show. I got to preserve this voice, bro. Like, I've got 2 college basketball games that I'm going to be broadcasting tomorrow on Baller TV. So check that out. First one at 11:30 in the morning. I should be up by then. We've got Santa Clara taking on Bradley, and the nightcap at 7:30 tomorrow night. UNLV, the Running Rebels, against the University of Pacific. So check that out, Mr. Golick, if you're in the hood. VGK plays. I'll be more serious on that broadcast. Okay, it's not like a podcast because I'm not a podcaster. I'm not a broadcaster. I'm not a play-by-play guy. I'm not an analyst. I'm nothing. VGK plays at Edmonton on Saturday, Minnesota Sunday. The Golden Knights defeated the Oil 1-0 in the best game of the season, I might add, here in Las Vegas, their last meeting. And it was the game in which Aiden Hill stopped 28 shots. Does Hill or Samsonov go on Saturday? How would you rotate these 2 goaltenders in 2 tough games this weekend?
So let's look beyond. The Golden Knights got 3 calendar days off after this, so I think that's
rigged.
important.
It's rigged. It's importantly rigged.
So it's an early game against Edmonton. It looks like it's a 2 p.m. local. No, 5 o'clock. Looks like it's a noon starts on Saturday. So Samsonov, I think, almost certainly is going to draw in just because it's a shorter break between the 2 games. And then on the back side of the back-to-back, you'll see Aiden Hill trying doing his best. We'll see what the Golden Knights have left against the Minnesota Wild. But I think it'll go Samsonov, Edmonton, Hill, Minnesota.
Okay. Last meeting, Barbashev, 5-hole and Skinner. Pretty bad leaky goal given up there.
Weird, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's the game winner. For Edmonton to win, we saw that magic number. They need 30 or more shots on goal. And that was a game in which there were no penalties. So if I'm Edmonton, what do? You drop the gloves right there on the faceoff?
No penalties and a 1-0 game, 4th or 5th time in the history of the National Hockey League. Something crazy.
It was awful to watch. It was bad for the fans. Get some shots on goal, Mr.
It was okay hockey. I mean, it wasn't a great game to watch. It was okay hockey. And McDavid, anytime he got space, that made it exciting at least. Since then, Tony, the Golden Knights, the Edmonton Oilers, win. They won 4 straight games. They scored 4 or greater in 3 of the 4. The only time they scored 2 goals was against the Lightning in a 2-1 victory. And what about the 7-1 shellacking of the Minnesota Wild in Minnesota last night? So Edmonton certainly seems to be on a bit of a heater at the moment right now since the Vegas Golden Knights beat them 1-0. It'll be a very evenly matched game. Maybe a slight nod to Edmonton as far as the sports books and everything goes. They'll be a favorite at home on a Saturday in Canada. So be a fun game to watch, and afternoon hockey too. I like that also.
Yeah. Sunday, of course, we will see that they'll be playing in Minnesota off of that big loss to the Oilers. Leon Draisaitl had his 21st goal in that game. The Oilers hadn't won there in 5 years. Pretty crazy. They had not won in Minneapolis, St. Paul in 5 years.
Crazy.
And so crazy, right? And so this should be a pretty interesting game. The Wild are up there amongst the top teams in the NHL. They are 19-6-4. And they lost defenseman Jake Middleton, plus 22, Chris, injured in that game against the Oilers. And so they definitely need him on the ice. When you look at this Minnesota team, Kirill Kaprizov already 43 points. Matt Boldy's also in the mix with 28. And who goes? Will Marc-Andre Fleury go for Minnesota on Sunday? It's a day game, These senior citizens, they'll be awake, during the day. Gustafsson, 21 starts, 14-4. Fleury has 7 starts, and he's 5-1. Had to mop up the other night against the Oil.
So I think, first of all, number one, the Wild are in the same circumstance as the Vegas Golden Knights. The Wild will be playing a Saturday game at home against the Philadelphia Flyers. That could help Vegas. Philadelphia could be a tough team to play against sometimes. So maybe
Yeah.
Philly will wear them out a little bit with just a good tight checking game. As far as who goes, I think it could be. I think it could wind up being Gustafsson. I think same thing. The Wild are playing an early game on Saturday, so it's a bit of a shorter turnaround. So it wouldn't surprise me if they went Gus on Saturday and Fleury, or sorry, other way around. If they went Fleury on Saturday and Gustafsson on Sunday versus the Vegas Golden Knights. But if it's the other way around, that would certainly make for a little better TV. It's always fun watching the Golden Knights play against Marc-Andre Fleury, and Golden Knights have had some good luck against Marc-Andre Fleury, so that could certainly help things as well. And big weekend. I mean, I know we're not doing locks tonight, but how many points do you think for the weekend?
1.
Give me 2. Give me 2 just because they're finding ways. So
split.
1.5 is the over-under, so we can do this. And Tony's
Okay.
going under. I'm going over.
Okay. Of course, coming up next, it is that time of the week again. We'll get into things further, I'm sure. What the Friday? Stay with us. Much anticipated on Locked On Golden Knights. We are driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't the search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. It's got over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you to find quality candidates and fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, for screening, and messaging so that you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you to hire faster. 93% of employers agree that Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, and that is according to a recent Indeed survey. Join the more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show, somebody called us Locked On Sharks yesterday, but we are Locked On Golden Knights. Had to make sure I was in the right room. And listeners of Locked On Golden Knights will get a $75 sponsored job credit, and you can get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/locked on. Just go to Indeed.com/locked on right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/locked on. Terms and conditions apply. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in wherever you might be, especially our good friends in Singapore, ranked number 3. That was the upset of the year, I think, that we have so many good fans and friends in Singapore. We will have to do a live remote broadcast from there someday. And, of course, our everydayers make this show tick. Okay, WTF. Vegas Bjorn whining about the cold weather in Winnipeg. WTF. Like between periods, they had him on the air on the radio side complaining. Oh, it's very cold here. WTF. You brought this to my attention, WTF. I've always complained that Kelly McCrimmon only does radio interviews in Canada. And George McPhee, what does he do? He does only interviews in Canada. Am I going to get some flowers on this one, Golick? Because now you have state-run radio doing a weekly live shot with the one and only Kelly McCrimmon. I complained. They listened. WTF.
Maybe the corporate days you asked, we listened. Yeah, I mean, listen, Kelly McCrimmon's going to hit some softballs every Monday on the radio, I guess. So whatever. It's good to hear him still. I mean, he's still always interesting to listen to.
At all, is it? That's not scripted, is it?
He's getting 16-inch softballs on a tee in that. Let's be clear about this. WTF. I will start with Bedard for a second here. Obviously, you guys know on the side, not the side, my business is opening boxes and boxes of hockey cards and sending them all over North America and even some places in Europe right now. So it's
Singapore.
No Singapore. Yeah, I don't think I've sent anything to Singapore yet. And Bedard is being declared a bust right now. Now we got a reality and a fantasy world happening with Bedard. The fantasy side of things, not fantasy hockey, but the fictitious world, if you will, is where his hockey cards have pretty much tanked in value. Some of his biggest rookie cards are down 400% from when they first hit the market, 3, 4, 5 months ago. But people are calling the player Bedard a bust. And I just want to be clear here. There's not a world that exists where a 19-year-old in the National Hockey League who is listed as 5'10 and 185, and I don't know if he's a pound over 160, to be honest, but not a world that exists where a 19-year-old in 97 career NHL games has 85 points. And I compare Bedard to a really good baseball player on a very bad team with absolutely no protection in the lineup. So teams are emptying the clip when he's out there as far as defending against him. And the other lines, it's Chicago. They don't got a very good team. It might get better as time goes on. But so anyone saying anything negative about Bedard, there's not a world that exists where a 19-year-old that's nearly a point per game player in the National Hockey League and the best hockey league in the entire world. Bedard is not a bust, so relax, everybody. WTF.
Last night, Keegan Colasar, between periods, the break between the second and third period, said that we need to get their goaltender, Hellebuck, to move his eyes. And so
It's a really good statement.
He winds up going out there and scores that goal. So WTF for Keegan Colasar now, just, am I right? 1 goal away from tying his career high in goals. WTF. Also, Vegas Bjorn, by the way, was on the bottom of that chart that you always show us. WTF. He's not playing well.
Bottom of the chart.
He's not playing well. It's time to write another story about him. Write another story about him. He's not playing well. He's great. Let's show another video of him in practice.
Piss off someone else.
Okay.
White Cloud and Haig pairing on the bottom. Carlson was actually the third worst last night. And Noah Hannafin watch, he was actually right in the middle, oddly enough.
He's in the middle. Yeah. He got tired of being at the top or bottom, so he just went middle on us. WTF.
Theodore McNabb, real solid. So it's good looking at that here. Not really a WTF. I'm just having fun scrolling through Jesse Pollock's tweet right now after the Vegas Golden Knights won. You got Vegas Golden Knight fans just, of course, clamoring to him. There's a video of, it looks like an RC, like remote control jets, and it's trying to take off from this long runway, and it starts like bouncing and goes straight up and straight down, and the thing just completely gets destroyed when it hits the ground and just lights on fire.
Pollock chose violence this morning. Go ahead.
You got a guy with a magic 8-ball saying try again. And of course, someone tweets a picture of the ref. Make sure Vegas wins.
Do I need to friend him? I need some friends. Yeah.
Oh, he's your guy. All the Vegas fans reminding Jesse that we own you. That's the Vegas Golden Knights. And picture of Mark Stone smiling, holding a hat where an L is photoshopped. Do you still call it Photoshop, or what do you call it now?
Yeah, you call it Photoshop. Yeah,
good. I
call that edited Photoshop. Yeah.
Yeah, Golden Knight fan just absolutely flexing on this dude. And I guess you got to give credit to Jesse for the fact that he's this he gets this much hate from fan bases, not just Vegas, but I think Vegas has a special place in his heart. So he's your type of guy, Tony. He's your type of guy. He stays the path, doesn't matter, and you and him would get along very well over a Labatt.
I'll friend him on X today. Thanks for the
recommendation. Sure he'll get right back to them. I'm sure he'll follow you back too.
Okay. Teddy Bluger, remember him? Teddy Bluger?
What do you do?
You see his mom was visiting from overseas, and she wins the
Vegas
Canucks.
Overseas or what?
Where is he from? Latvia?
Is he visiting in Vegas? Is she in Vegas?
No. Just follow along at home.
Okay.
Teddy Bluger's mom won the Canucks 50-50 raffle. She takes home $100,000. WTF. I mean,
is that
I'm
allowed?
Surprised. Well, didn't they try to rig that for Dad's Night here in Vegas or something?
No.
Okay, I'm just making that up. WTF. I had to go there. Come on, bro. Dean Jones, Dean _13. I feel like Tony Dasco always picks against. I thought we were bros. I feel like Tony Dasco always picks against the VGK. WTF? Is he just a hater? I mean, he drools over UNLV and the Thrill, but VGK gets crumbs. The Raiders, I think I kind of drool over too. I think he even has the Desert Dogs and the Nighthawks above VGK. This is my WTF for Friday. Good on you picking the winner, Golick. WTF.
And little Chris.
Community
I
note.
have the final score too.
Community note. They add community note. I'm a consultant for the Thrill, so of course I'm going to be a lackey for them. Okay, WTF. Jakar 3G. WTF. Just me, but really, I hate the camera behind the goal. For a replay,
the camera behind the goal. I love it.
For a replay, no problem, but live, it threw me off every time. WTF.
I was going to say, I wish.
I despise it.
Well, for the power play, it's wonderful, number one. For the power play, it's great because the puck is usually moving a little bit slower and easier to follow. I wish the NHL would find a way to. So the NFL has those. They're not drone cameras, but they're on the ropes and stuff, and they follow the action north and south, kind of behind the play. I wish the NHL would find a way to utilize some type of technology to do that as well. I think a north-south moving camera with enough of a lens where it's not too isolated, so your head's not moving around like this trying to watch it. But I would love to see if the NHL can do a north-south broadcast with some type of advanced technology, whether it's the playoffs or Stanley Cup. Where the camera is moving along with the players. I think that'd be phenomenal if done right.
It's not intentional, but they do this in the AHL. The camera
the AHL is brutal. The AHL TV. Although AHL TV probably is better pixelation than Nighttime Plus.
Oh, boy.
Think about that for a second.
Okay. Do you have any other WTFs from fans? I've got another one.
No, you go ahead. I'm just blabbing right now.
Yeah, you really are today. WTF Tony.
Coffee.
This is from Darth Tommy 774. I knew I couldn't escape by saying this yesterday on the show. Tony on 12/12/24 says he, quote, wants more out of his back end. End quote. One word, Tony, fiber. You are no spring chicken. WTF. That's pretty funny, actually.
I'm not backing that up. I'm done.
You don't have any other ones from the barbecue guy or anyone else? No?
He did try to undress us.
Us or you? He's a big fan of you.
I'm starting to support. I've been much more supportive of VGK.
Oh, you're buttering.
I think I've shed part of my heel mentality here.
And I've got to fill in
snooze fest and talking about the Logan Thompson stuff. He doesn't like that. And then he's talking about low views and things like that and everything. Like, I don't know. The podcast is hosted by Talk About the Sharks. So basically, he's comparing us and Locked On Sharks. And again, credit Locked On Sharks. They do a good job. And Locked On Sharks is a different market.
Put more work into it than us. That's for sure. We'll give them credit there.
That's fair. Absolutely. Fine. Yeah. So be it. So, yeah. I'm happy with the way things are going here. And I guess what I will say to Lloyd is if it wasn't for his daily multiple views, our numbers would be really bad.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Do that over and over again. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thank you so much. Don't forget, of course, tomorrow morning, sometimes, maybe.
Venice Beach, Tony Kardashian, he called you, by the way. Venice Beach, Tony Kardashian. That's pretty good. That's
a new one. Venice Beach, Tony Kardashian.
We should be called Locked On Petty and Dumb. You decide who is who. Am I petty or dumb?
Who would be you?
Am I petty or dumb? Which one are you?
I'm more petty than dumb. I'm more petty. I'm definitely petty.
I'm dumb. I'm pretty petty. I don't think I'm dumb.
Okay, then call me dumb. I don't care, but it's fun. It's fun dumbness. Of course. Thank you so much for tuning in. Are you doing a show tomorrow or what, bro? By popular demand. No? Okay, we don't know. Game time decision.
I'd like to. It's tough in the morning. I write
day to day. It is day to day
and everything, and it's tough.
Okay, don't forget, we'll be back again Monday, maybe Sunday night. Who knows? We could fire up a show there because VGK playing 2 games this weekend, and we'll have all the deets for you and recaps coming up on our next show. For my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cordasco from Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you again right here on Locked On Golden Knights, and please take care.